Hi girls, backs particularly. I just want to have a look at what we talked about the other night in our split, or last night, Thursday night, around the role of the winger or the fullback or one of the backs in that wide ruck, getting inside 12. So the setup we have here, we've got a wide ruck. That could be the 15th ruck, or it could be we've attacked from a line out the other side and got to here. Whatever it is, it's a wide ruck. So we've actually got the perfect setup that we're looking for in our structure. We've got two wide backs, so wing and fullback on this side, 9, 10, 12 in the middle, and we've got our two backs. We've got a 14 here, I don't know if you can see it, and we've got our 13. So they're our rapid and our wide back, and 11 and 15, if the ruck was this side, you'd be our rapid and our wide back. So we've got that good setup. They've obviously got two backs in the ruck, and then a defensive line where they've got A and B, which always takes care of the halfback, C and D, which will take care of and maybe E, take care of the yellow pod. So this is what it would look like. From here, we've got a yellow pod, and note the 10 in behind the yellow pod for a black option, but we'll carry yellow and we'll go up and out. So we should take in the C and the D defenders, and then they'll have A, B, and so on. Obviously 9 comes around, 10 would push, and everyone has to adjust a little bit. We've got our 12 and 2 forwards for our white pod, still get our rapid in behind. Two options that will happen here. Their halfback will go in behind. We need to reload into our nest. So these two forwards here might stay on this side, meaning that they've got less numbers here and hopefully leave us more space this side. And obviously the nest option isn't on. They might have one back start to reload, but maybe not. So if we see that setup, nest isn't on. So first back, you need to go, right, nest is not on. I'm going to now, for our white option, I'm going to get here to be an inside 12 option. Now initially we want you to hide a little bit so you can sit in behind 10, but you know you're coming into there. What could happen? There's two scenarios. The first scenario is you're going to hold the defense. So if they see you, these two here, A and B, obviously watching the 9, but then when it passes, we'll probably go into the 10. And these two could come forward tight, 6 to cover 12, 1 to cover you. So now what we've created is 2 defenders and maybe a third. We've got a rapid option. We've got rapid 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 attacking options there. So rapid is on because they've seen you and they've stayed tight to cover you. So that's the first option. If we go back to our setup again, the second scenario is when they actually don't see you and they drift. So these two will have to hold for 9 initially, and then these ones, 10 will get the ball, they'll hold but then go to 12. They might start drifting to get a little bit more width on their defence. Generally not A and B, often, particularly in women's rugby, will stay back and maybe be a little bit slower because we've made a wide pass. That is when your option is to come on the inside. So you're actually looking for what these defenders, A and B, are doing to see if they're holding or if they're drifting into that space. Because if they drift into the space, that's not on. If they hold, that's when it's on. So just to recap, we've carried yellow, A and B, C, D. We might have 13 trying to reload, but at this stage I don't think they'll get that far. They'll still be about here, so we've still got space. If the defence see you and they stay tight, the option is not on, but either a white carry or a rapid could be on to get to the space wide. So that's if they stay tight. That's what we're wanting. So we can get space wide where we've got numbers. Or we're wanting this if they don't see you potentially and they decide to drift and leave these two forwards a little bit behind and you come into that space. So that's what that would look like. I'll set that up again. So white, rapid, 11 and behind. The other option here is obviously, oops, we'll put 13 back, coming back this side. We've carried yellow, or we've carried yellow. These two decide to go around the corner. So they have more around the corner, more defending. And we noticed they've only got 2 defenders here. Nest could be on. Nest could be on. So that might look like that. Or they have that option where one goes around the corner. Option might not be on. But remembering their backs have stayed, so we've got a little bit more space. Here's the next scenario. Whatever it might look like. We're not going nest, so we get into this position. If we were to carry a white, so let's say we carried a white here, and what have we got here? A, B, C, D. We might take them in, let's say. They might go around the corner. Maybe another one goes around the corner. Not sure how they're going to defend. But let's say we've got that. We've carried a white. 10 always goes around. Rapid comes around. Winger, a couple of forwards. I don't know if you can see that. These girls, because we've got a white, we want our nest option. Yellow. We've got 2 options here. We might go nest, where ultimately we want 10 to come around in behind if we've called nest. You can push back to their 11 and we carry this way. Or we've still got a nest option. If we go same way, because you weren't used off the white, you could again go and sit up inside 10. That's naturally going to hold 1 or 2 defenders so that they can't drift and we still have our space wide. So you're a holding player. You're holding the defence from drifting. You might decide to go inside 13. That's fine too, because still same again. You're going to hold the defence and there'll be space wider. So that's what that could look like. Ultimately, if you get involved here, absolutely get involved, got no issue, but remembering you might be in the ruck, you might just be a support player. Eventually you need to get back to your wing if we were to come wide again. So you can see how wings, fullbacks, you've actually got a lot of running to do to be effective. And that's what we call getting off your wing. You're not always going to be used, you're like a decoy. Cool.